Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we have your bonus weekly replay video. This day we have the Tier 10 Tech Line Japanese Heavy Cruiser, the Zao. Actually, I lied. It's not the Tech Line Zao. This is the Premium Zao, the Zao Color, which in every which way is exactly the same as the Zao, except it is, as you can see, a quite offensive shade of green and blue-ish, kind of, sorta. And it has the improved premium economy that are associated with Tier 10 special ships. So you got that going for it, which I believe is just the reduction in cost. They don't actually get too much of a bump in terms of their premium economy. They don't have the baked-in premium economy that those tier 9 and below premium ships do have, but still is better for printing credits than your average tier 10 tech line ship. But anyway, the Zao, which is being driven today by Digital Nomad. This is quite the tier 10 ship. The Zao is one of the older cruisers in game, being the head of the first ever, well, one of the first two ever cruiser tech lines in game. And that has, of course, led to her being, in my opinion, a little bit left behind in today's World of Warships. If you do notice, the main battery gun range on the Zao isn't really that great. In fact, the Yodo, the Tier 10 Japanese light cruiser, outranges it. At the same time, too, the Yodo has more HP than the Zao. That's right, the light cruiser has more HP and more range than the heavy cruiser. Riddle me that. I mean, of course, it's in their design and all that jazz, but it's just so funny seeing that happen to the Zao of all ships. But anyway, so the Zao is quite a good tech line ship, in my opinion, either way. Yes, it has been power crept with its range and such, but it still does very much get the job done. Still quite stealthy. As you can see, Digital Nomad does have his Zao down to 9.9 kilometers when it comes to detection, which is absolutely absurd for a tier 10 heavy cruiser to have a detection range that small. The torpedoes are still very good as well. They can get up to 12 kilometers. They pack quite a punch. Ooh, speaking of packing a punch, the Minotaur just murders the Buffalo there in the first 2.5 minutes of the game. But obviously, again, the range does very much leave much to be desired. And since the Zao is one of the older ships in game, her geometry of her armor is quite odd. You'll shoot the ship in the most random spot and get a citadel. Like, you'll hit the smokestack and get a citadel on this thing somehow. And then you'll also shoot it like dead center where you expect the citadel to be, and you won't get a citadel. It's one of those cruisers, right? But I do very much enjoy my Zao, and, you know, she has gotten a bit of love over the past couple of years from Wargaming. They de-nerfed her health. If you guys didn't know, back in the day, the Zao used to have the HP that you see now, but they bonked it down by I think like 10,000 or like no, actually it had more. I think it had 55,000 HP. They bonked it down to 45,000. They recently just bumped it back up to 49,000 and change. So I think we're buff away from getting the Zao's old HP back. Yes, there was a time when the Zao was too powerful and she had to be nerfed because of that. Speaking of those lovely torpedoes, the Zeton's about to catch, I think, one, maybe two of them. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Not even shot his guns yet. Already gotten it killed. 2 torps to the side of a Zeton for 27,000 damage done, and hit the second kill of the match for his team. So yeah, how's the match going right now? Well, both teams have 1 cap. Pretty standard match here on Atlantic. Usually, you know, one team grabs the north cap, one team grabs the south cap, and they kind of stare at each other over the middle cap. And eventually one side will win their flank and come steamrolling down the other side for the rest of the team. Let's see, what is in his match? No subs, no CVs, Tier 10 with a little bit of Tier 8 thrown in there, and some Tier 9s as well, so pretty standard high-tier game, but without any subs or carriers to ruin the fun, right? I'm saying that kind of sarcastically. But he is essentially the destroyer for his flank over here, because he has a small detection range out of the ships on his flank, and their Sashio B, which is their only destroyer, has gone up north. But looks like the other destroyer for the enemy team is down here, taking the A cap. Ooh, Kremlin, that is not something you want to see playing as that. You don't want to see anything with any really large guns or AP or guns in general when you're playing the Zal. So, yeah, wise on him not just letting his guns rip at the moment and trying to farm down the Zal. Sorry, trying to farm down the Kremlin, because that is certainly a way to get your, well, HP reduced by half in a single salvo. There's an Agir over there who is just slinking behind the island right now. Okay, so he is detected. I was about to say, I'm surprised he hasn't got detected just yet. But he has now been spotted by the enemy destroyer. Kremlin looks like he's... Oh, it's the Otago that's in the cap. Interesting. That's right. The Olin's been spotted over by the C cap, let's see now. And yes, that is AP coming from Zal, and this is why you use the AP on the Zal, because yes, the HE is quite good with that IG and HE with its improved alpha and its improved fire chance, but the ship still has AP. And when you have the broadside of enemy ships, you want to use it. I mean, it's got 12 203mm guns, right? Like, that AP does very much hurt. Now that the Otago is angled, he swaps him over to his HE, gets a couple good pins out of him. Ooh, someone clips in there as he goes behind the island for a decent bit of damage. It's kind of like the British battleships. You know, too many players just sit there and they just spam HE in their British battleships rather than swapping over to that wonderful short fuse AP where you get full pins on battleship extremities like the bow and the stern and the superstructure. You know, you do massive damage to the AP to those surfaces when you have, you know, enough of their sides where you can pin them. But so many just sit there and forget that you have AP in like the Conqueror and the Lion and the Monarch and stuff. AP is really good on the British BBs. Same with the Zal and the Japanese cruiser line. When you can, most definitely use it. So now he gets to farming down the Kremlin. There come those Kremlin shells. He's sped up shortly before the Kremlin got those off. So some nice... Yes, there we go. Some nice throttle jukes there with only one shell overpinning his stern. There's a couple good hits on the Kremlin as he sails away. Agir way the hell out there. Looks like he does very much have the range mod on instead of the reload mod. So he does have 18.8 kilometer range with his main battery guns. Without the mod, I believe it's 16 and change. If you take like the reload mod, or if you take the, I guess, the torpedo mod, if you really want that for your last module slot, yeah, you're gonna be stuck with 16 kilometer main battery gun range. But she does have a spotter, which is something that I do. I run the reload mod with the spotter plane. That way, you know, if I want to get it out that far, you know, 18 and change, I can. And that tends to work for me. And the other thing about the Zal 2 has quite a high degree of utility nowadays. You get Hydro, you get Spotter or Fighter, and you get the submarine surveillance now. Which, it was pretty funny when the Japanese cruisers got the submarine surveillance, because everyone would say, well, you know, they sit in the back, and they're kind of, you know, what's the point of the back? They're kind of useless with the submarine surveillance. It's like, well, you know, the Zal has such short range, and most of the Japanese heavy cruisers do, that they tend to actually play more from the middle because of that. So giving them submarine surveillance kind of makes sense because of their short main battery gun range. They're forced to play from the middle nowadays, which is where, you know, a lot of submarines will try to sneak behind your front line and attack those ships back there that are, you know, hanging it. Ooh, should be a dead Otago here. No, down to 50 HP. But yeah, you know, that's where the submarines tend to go for. Those ships are hanging, you know, toward the back and stuff by themselves. That tends to be where you find the Japanese heavy cruisers, you know, so it kind of makes sense in my book. Ships are very much sinking here on both sides quite quickly. The enemy team did manage to cap the B cap, though. Oh, and once again, the points are flipped. So the green team's points are the red team's points, red team's points are the green team's points. Why? It's a replay bug. They haven't fixed it yet. Will they? I don't know. This is going on for, I think, like, what, a year and a half now at this point. Kremlin trying to come down the middle. Oh, this is a very bad spot to be in. He is slightly angled to a Kremlin, and yep, there we go. There goes half of his HP. Now, he did get his torps out, popping a heal here there as well to offset that damage. Given that his torp spread is pretty much the width of the channel, that Kremlin is probably going to eat 1 or 2 torpedoes regardless. Probably won't be enough to sink him because the Kremlin does actually have good torpedo protection, but there is a Petropavlos going bow into the Kremlin. Oh, look, beautiful. Kremlin turns out just in time to catch a couple extra of these torpedoes. And by a couple extra, I think I mean only one, of course. But good hit there, 12,000 damage to the Kremlin. He did pop his damage con. Petro gets a shot into his broadside, chunking for a large amount of damage. Digital slams on the brakes here. Will it be enough to avoid getting blocked by this Kremlin? I hope so, because if not, there's going to be a really short replay here, and it is. Oddly enough, the Bowen Petropavlov survives the Kremlin pushing into him, but he may not survive the Olin trying to gun him down. So it looks like the friendly side has won the battle for the A cap, while the enemy side has won the battle for the C cap. As far as kills go, teams are pretty even. Enemy team has a little bit of an advantage right now. However, the red team's destroyer is still alive. That gives them a huge advantage in terms of spotting. Because, well, the friendly team's destroyer is dead. It's really hard for a destroyer to spot when they're dead. Destroyers are stealthy. They're able to spot the enemy team without being spotted they themselves. So when the enemy team has spotting and your team doesn't have spotting, guess what? The enemy team can see ships that your team, well, can't counter spot, right? So that means the enemy team gets to pick and choose who they want to shoot at, and they can see everybody, right? So that's a huge advantage for the enemy team to have that the friendly team no longer has. Although it looks like Nomad is trying to formulate a plan here to take out that Oland, although he has a line, a Smolensk, a Kearsarge, and a Petropavlovsk to deal with, although the Vermont and the Cerberus are pushing up on the rear of that island that the Petropavlovsk is behind. Speaking of spotting, thanks to matchmaking, let me just double check here before I start talking about matchmaking. Yeah. Thanks to matchmaking, the enemy team also got a hybrid ship and the friendly team did not. Now, granted, there's only one hybrid in this match, so there you go. But I'm sure you guys have seen it where, like, there's two hybrids in the game. For some reason, the enemy team has them and not your team, which is very odd. Because it's like, okay, there's two hybrids in matchmaking. Should we not evenly distribute those? Because that's, spotting that the other team is not getting. So that's just, Matchmaker does some weird things at times. Or at least they need to update it, because they really need to update it, if they're going to keep pushing more and more hybrids into the game. Oh, there we go. Venezia has been spotted. Petra popped the radar. Ooh, but the Oland is not, never mind. Venezia, Sap came in there and wrecked him. Let's see if Nomad's HE is going to finish him off. And, ooh, 3 hits of fire. Enough for him to get spotted. He did manage to pop his damage con and his heal, but Nomad does get another salvo off. Japanese HE with that improved alpha. If he gets the hits here, this should be a dead Oland. And, oh, no. Single shell hit, probably hitting a turret or his torpedo rack and knocking that out instead. That is downright sad. Dang. Alright. Well then, there's a Kearsarge there, and a Lion, and Petropavlovsk, who is now being double teamed by the Cerberus and the Vermont. Nomad does pop his Hydro. Very wise choice here with the Olin being just north of him. Kearsarge eats a big chunk of damage from the Vermont. Gear takes out the friendly Petro. Kearsarge is broadside. Petro takes out the Cerberus. The Kearsarge is broadside to Digital here in his Zao. And he is taking the B cap right now, uncontested. Dumps torps the general direction of the Lion. Lion gets his HE out on Digital here. That would have been a great shot for AP. But he, again, spamming HE, right? Alright, pops a heal here. Trying to entice that line to come out a little bit, but looks like the line is not going for it. Vermont is very low, down to 14k HP in front of the Kearsarge and a Petro and a Lion. But speaking of Petro, he might be dead here to all this AP. Nope, Kutuzov gets popped, and he lives for quite a bit longer here. He does get that debuff to the enemy team's dispersion that's getting thrown at him right now. Los Andes full W keying into a Smolensk. This should be a dead Smolensk here. But naturally it's not because Smolensk armor. Smolensk, if he can go darken his smoke, might actually get to survive this encounter. Nope, he's going to go down here. Okay, but that Los Andes... Oh, yeah, that Los Andes is probably going to die too. Yep. The secondaries on the Lion. I thought the Smolensk torpedoes were going to get him. Alright, there you go. Petropavlovsk is down to the friendly Vermont. Now we have a 4v4 game, ladies and gentlemen. Enemy team has 1 destroyer, 1 cruiser, 2 battleships left. Friendly team has 2 battleships and 2 destroyers left. Although that Vermont, oof, yeah, ow. He's about to go down here. Digital dumping more torpedoes in that torpedo channel toward the enemy team. Hopefully someone will walk into one. He did manage to solo cap the B cap, so that's good for his team. If they can, just keep the enemy team out of the cap, they should catch up on points. They are about 160 points behind. So, oof, yep, there goes the Vermont, taken out by the Kearsarge planes. What a terrible way to die. Kearsarge, though, looks like he's going to beach here on this island unless he turns hard over. Digital gets some good pins into his hangar there. Yep, does turn hard over. He still might beach, though. A little late for that turn. Might just scrape the paint off the... Yeah, he's scraping the paint off of the blisters there at the moment. Most of those shots go into the island in front of him. Lion is hard looking at Digital here, but then his attention's taken away by the Amagi. Up there is the Oland in the cap. So the Venezia knows where that Oland's at, so if he can just, kind of stumble into him, he can just obliterate him with his sap. But now there's a Lion in Digital's face. Lion, again, thankfully is distracted. Probably by the enemy Oland begging for help, killing that Venezia. Oh, Kearsarge shots out. Digital throttles up, hoping to throttle juke that. I don't know if Zhao's fast enough. Ooh, this might hurt. He's not touching his rudder. He's trusting his engine there, as he should. There we go. Manages to throttle juke those shells. Yep, Oland gets spotted. Should be dead here from the Venezia if he can get even his forward turrets on. That sap should finish him off here. The Lion's being cooked alive, which is pretty ironic. There we go, Venezia. Excellent job there taking out the Oland. Although now the Venezia does have a very angry Agir to deal with, who just witnessed him murder his DD. So that's not going to be great. Lion still... Okay, now he's looking at Digital and his Zhao. Yeah. Now let's see if he's going to be spamming H. He won't be that big of a deal. If he's got AP loaded, this could be a bit of a problem. Yep, there goes HE. Now the thing is, though, the Lion, of course, does have a super heal, and all fire damage is 100% recoverable. So, all this fire damage that Digital's doing to this Lion, he can just heal. Kearsarge takes out the Amagi. Venezia and Agir are jousting. I think we might get a ram here. Yep. Oh. Now it's all down to Digital. A 1v2 versus a Lion who is about to bake alive here. I guess he's out of super heals. It does appear so. Alright, so it's him and a Kearsarge. I think he's got to kill the Kearsarge. I don't think he has enough time to win on points. So a Zhao has to kill a Kearsarge with 12 16-inch guns with American super heavy AP and aircraft with Japanese AA. And not the Japanese light cruiser AA, which is oddly enough very good. So let's see. So they're 120 points behind, and they have around 2 minutes to win or lose. Here come the planes, and that's if the Kearsarge B just doesn't go into the B cap and contest the cap, because at that point, then that cancels out the points game. And he misses. He whiffs his shots. What a yeah. Not the best lead there on his Kearsarge. Now this is a Kearsarge B, so there's a very good chance this man just got this Kearsarge in a Black Friday container. May not know exactly what he's doing, but it still has 12 16-inch guns. And those still very much hurt. He does know where he's at, popping his spotter to hopefully spot him here. Probably not close enough for that just yet. But if he does get spotted, you want to... Oh, he's just coming around the corner. All right. That is a half-health Kearsarge versus a half-health Zhao. All right. This should be interesting. Why is he not fired yet? There we go. Okay. He's probably swapping over from HE to AP. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about there. Just completely canceled out any healing he was getting there on his hill. Okay. AP loaded for the turrets. He's going for the turrets, ladies and gentlemen. There's his Confederate. 44 seconds left, yet he's got to kill him to win. Oh my god, this is so much broadside to a battleship. Oh my god. Better hope that Kearsarge is not running, HE to the nose, not running Drill and Rush. Oh, there we go. Is it angled enough? Down to 5,000 HP. Kearsarge just staying bound to the torpedoes. That might be enough to help him, but it might not be. Looks like it. Uh-oh. He dodged the rest of them. So now he's got to fry him alive here. Aiming too far back for the HE to pin. There you go. To the nose. To the nose. That's what you need. Ooh. 7 seconds left. 6 seconds. 5 seconds. Shots out. 3, 2 seconds remaining. Digital Nomad secures the kill on the Kearsarge. Talk about to the last second, ladies and gentlemen. 227,000 damage done, 3 kills, 1 solo cap, 19 secondary hits. It's not that often you see that many secondary hits from a friggin' Zao of all ships. Confederate, Dreadnought, and High Caliber. How much space XP did he get there? 2,380 base XP, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. What was the battle duration? 1957. I think it just ticked over. I ticked over to 2 seconds left there at the when the victory screen came up there. Dang. So down to the last 2 or 3 seconds. Pretty last second there in my book. So yeah, there's that. Well, there's the signals coming in into play there. But yeah, excellent game there, Digital. Talk about a last second win, a real nail biter there. And it goes to show you, Zal still got it. Zal still very much has it in today's World of Warships. Is it, the best tier 10 cruiser? Probably not. But you know what? Old girl still got a couple of tricks up her sleeve. Ain't that so? So guys, if you have a game like this that's real close, entertaining, or just something goofy happens, feel free to send it into the email linked in the description down below. Thank you, Digital, for sending this in to the channel. I very much enjoyed watching it, and I'm sure most of you guys did too. So guys, have a wonderful Sunday, wonderful rest of your week. I hope to catch you guys in the next one.